Wow, look at that. A beautiful river, not lined with hundreds of houses along its banks. It's like I'm in another country or something. Oh wait, yeah, I am in another country. I must not be in Montana anymore. Canada, we are here, eh? It had been a long time since I was in Canada, and it was time to leave the United States behind for a while. Coming in toward Canada here. Coming to Canada here at Roosevelt. Gotta go through the customs gate. Welcome to Canada. Bienvenue à Canada. Looks like some really scenic mountains ahead. I was hoping to find big open spaces up here, and was glad I'd left the crowds behind in Montana. I was hugely disappointed in Montana. The traffic was insane. Many of the towns were absolutely overwhelmed with people. There seemed to be just a ton of development everywhere. From a few miles south of Darby, which is south of Missoula, all the way up almost to the border of Canada, was pretty much non-stop development. Many of the beautiful meadows and fields were either being developed or were about to be developed or were for sale. And there was a huge influx of outsiders coming in and building second and third homes. And I talked to some locals, and I was told that the local people can't even afford to buy a house there anymore or even live in Montana. So all told, there was about a 186-mile long string of development. There was pretty much no place where I couldn't see a house in that span, and I only got a little bit of open space up toward the border of Canada, but that only lasts a little while. Some locals told me that Kalispell, which was once a cute little town, is now a place of crime, drugs, and homeless. It was a lot harder to boondock in Montana than I thought it would be. I had to really go out of my way, maybe 15 or 20 miles, to find a place where I could just park for free overnight. And in getting to those places, which were usually on national forest land, it was the same kind of thing. There was an endless string of houses lining each side of the road on these little tiny two-lane roads. So I'm glad to be up here in Canada, where there's less people and more open spaces. I was talking to a local guy who had lived in Montana his entire life, and he said Montana used to be the last great place. And I said, well, now it's the last raped place. And he agreed with that statement. You Canadians don't know how lucky you are to live in a country with only 40 million or so people, as compared to the United States, which has about 350 million people. I think Montana's reached the point of no return. It'll never be the same place as it once was, the place I once knew, and the place that they envision when they think of the state of Montana. We're heading east on the BC3. Everywhere I look around here, there's lots and lots of mountains. Of course, this is the Rockies. I would call this a sumptuous feast for the eyes. I bet those guys in that boat are having a real good time. This is Fernie, BC. Fernie was originally a coal mining town, and coal mining continues today in the outlying areas. For the better part of a century, it was a one-industry boom and bust town. The town has had its share of disasters, from coal mine explosions killing over 100 men to a fire destroying much of the town. But in the 1960s, it started to evolve into a winter sports region. Today, Fernie is known for winter sports, mainly skiing. However, there are still several active mines. This union of winter sports enthusiasts and miners has made for a strange and rather awkward marriage, as many of the locals can attest. Still pretty smoky here in Canada. The fires have been raging for quite some time. Filling up with pure spring water right out of the side of the mountain just south of Fernie. Looks like it's going to be super tasty good. And it's just beside the highway. Ice cold and so tasty good spring water. Watch out for bighorn sheep along the highway. Check out this massive hole in the side of this huge mountain. Parking it for the night here in Canada, first night, and it's a pretty nice spot. You got a backdrop of some nice mountains. Really smoky today. Those mountains would be pretty if it wasn't. There's a new fire, looks like. Here come the fire retardant dropping planes. I went to the local credit union in Cranbrook and exchanged some American dollars for some Canadian ones. And you got the Queen looking rather stern on that 20 there. If you hold these up to the light, you can see that they are see-through in places. There's also the $1 coin there, known as the loonie because it's got a loon on it, and this is the toonie because it's a $2 coin, and that's the 25-cent piece with the caribou, and I hope to see some caribou up in Canada. Limited visibility, wildfire in area, localized smoke. Had a lot of them this year in Canada. Worst ever. Beautiful mountains ahead. Take a look before they're all coated in smoke. Nasty, nasty smoke, lots of it. With this new big fire flaring up, it's time to get out of here. I'm in the Cranbrook area, so yeah, Cranbrook is probably talking evacuations here soon. That is gnarly. Wildfires galore. We're heading into the ominous smoke cloud of doom. Wow, that fire is just right there. I mean, right there. Across the old bridge we go. We're out of the smoke now, so that's good. Some distant mountains ahead, they're looking pretty nice. One nice thing about BC is there's all these litter barrels and trash cans everywhere along the roadside, about every 10 miles, so you can just toss your trash right in these. This is the spring-fed Columbia Lake. This is where the Columbia River starts. The type of subdivision development that's been taking place in the western U.S. is now taking place in western Canada. Lots for sale, subdivision, corporate subdivisions. Pave paradise, put in a subdivision. There's some truth in advertising. The same thing's happening here as in Montana. People moving in along lakesides and waterways. The only good thing is it happens less quickly because there's just less people up in Canada. Lake Columbia. The Columbia River is the fourth most voluminous waterway in the continent. It's a warm day, about 84 degrees, which is about 29 Celsius, as they use Celsius up here in Canada. And I figured I might as well just jump in and go for a little swim while I still can before I get lot blocked from the lake. Ah, that was refreshing. Coming up to some big cliffs. Look at those things, huh? Big cliffs and a little bridge. We're on our way to find Lucier Hot Springs. Somewhere out here in the back country. White Swan Provincial Park. Whoa, I just saw a mountain lion run about 30 yards in front of the car across this little dirt road that I'm on right now. He's just right down there somewhere. Yeah, he's just right in there. I don't know where he is. We can have a look real quick, but I think he's long gone. Yeah, the mountain lion just ran across this road right here, just shoo. Well, he's down in there somewhere. Long gone by now, I'm sure. Okay, well here's a sign at White Swan Lake Provincial Park. We're taking this trail down, which is way more structured than I imagined, down to what I hope leads us to the hot springs. For my Australian viewers, now there's a gum tree for you. Alright, looks like we've got hot springs right beside the river. Another day, another hot spring. It's the life here in the BC Lucier Hot Springs. Now I'm in the upper pool, and this one is definitely warm. I'm going to say probably 105 Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius, maybe 40, 41. After parking nearby and having another soak in the morning, I hit the road. Coming back toward Fairmont Hot Springs. Left to go to Lucier last night, and glad I did. It's nice. Here's the headwaters of the Columbia River pretty much, and as you can see, it's not so big up here. Fairmont Springs is just sort of a resorty golf course, hot springs town, so not really my thing, so I'm going to just keep moving on. The far side in, huh? It's lunchtime, so I'm gonna get some poutine. What is poutine, you might ask? Let's find out. I'm here with the queen of poutine, and this is Brenda, and she's gonna tell us what is poutine. So Brenda, explain, what is poutine?
Poutine, if you've ever had one, is incredible. You got crispy, amazing fries with luscious gravy and curds. And you put it all together, and you can add all kinds of meat. You can add pulled pork, you could add chicken, buffalo chicken, which is hot and spicy. You could have ground beef. You can make it into anything you like, but this is how I like it, just like that.
So this is the traditional poutine
Yes.
right here. So you can see the cheese curds, the gravy, and the fries. Let's try it out. That's good. Got cheese curds there. Oh yeah. Oh, Canada. So if you're in Radium Hot Springs, BC, be sure to check out this cart right here, and you can also go over to the ice cream shop. Brenda's got that too. Going through the roundabouts. Now there's a nice looking wall of mountains right there, eh? That's the Purcell Range out there, Bugaboo Provincial Park. I just like saying Bugaboo. It's a fun word. And it's known for heli skiing out there. There goes B-Land. Traffic's finally eased up a bit, getting toward Golden. And it's probably gonna get kind of packed again as we head toward Lake Louise. It's warm today, 85, which is about 30 Celsius, I think. That looks like an old piece of Canadian history right there, that cabin and those buildings, and a nice scenic setting right there. Another rustic Canadian scene. An old sawmill truck. Look at these mountains ahead, pretty impressive looking peaks. I think I've just found the biggest slip and slide ever, and I'm gonna do it. There we go. Yee-hoo! Hey, Demon Pierre. Thanks to Pierre Mac for bringing the ice creams. And now it's time for a drumstick ice cream. Some pretty scenery on the way to Golden. We're entering the town of Golden. Golden began as a camp for the survey crew of the Canadian Pacific Railway and was originally called McMillan's Camp. And after 7, get the heck out. You can make friends here, like the crow on this guy's car, huh? Looks like he's found a nice little perch. A river runs through it, Golden, BC. Public washrooms, clean, tidy, available, and not vandalized. It's like the campsites just keep getting better and better. More and more scenic. Plump, juicy Saskatoon berries. Tasty. That's what awaits. Looks like they're in the process of widening the road here. Yes, must get a lot of traffic. So we are going from British Columbia over to Alberta now. We're heading toward Lake Louise. We're in the heart of the Rockies here, gaining some elevation. Some massive clear cuts over to the right there, and that's kind of what British Columbia is known for in a sense. Big clear cuts, BC. Yeah, they're doing some pretty major construction here. Look at those guys up in that little thing up there. Quite an awful mess with all this construction. A lot of traffic. Road slices right through these mountains. Cut right through. Big views out there. National Park. We're off to see the first sight of the day, heading down to see Wapta Falls along this trail here in Yoho National Park. The sign said 2.4 kilometers to get to the falls, which I guess is like 1.25 miles maybe? Look at this oddity of nature, like some kind of burl or something growing right in the middle of this tree. The berries of the Devil's Club plant. I definitely wouldn't want to eat those, and I definitely wouldn't want to be touching this plant because it's filled with spikes. Little sharp thorns all over it. There's a first look at the falls. Let's head on down and have a closer look. I think these berries are either high bush or low bush cranberries, and I think they're edible. I'll have to look them up later though, just to make sure. I did eat one of those berries, and it was tart, like a cranberry, so hopefully I'll survive. That waterfall's great on a hot day because the mist just rains right down on you. That sign says you're in avalanche country. Yeah, well, with mountains like that ahead of us, I can certainly see how that could be. Wow, look at these mountains. Wow, talk about sharp peaks and big mountains. Yeah, it's quite a scene out there. Well, that was cool seeing that waterfall, and now we're heading toward Emerald Lake. Don't expect to be alone here at Emerald Lake. I'm just trying to find a parking spot. I walked quite a ways in and then walked down a steep hill in order to escape the masses and not have 1,000 people in my video clip here and get this shot of Emerald Lake. And it is fairly emerald, isn't it? Here's a panoramic shot of Emerald Lake. That water is pretty. It's got that glacial silt, meltwater look, whatever you call that. All here looking for the natural bridge. Made it to the Alberta line, so it's time to explore it in my next video. I hope you enjoyed exploring BC with me. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Rockhopper. I'll see ya.